Hey, good evening, traders. Hope you had an enjoyable weekend. Bringing you a market study for the week of September 10th. Let's get started here as to what we can expect from upcoming week. Well, we have a really interesting scenario setting up here in Nasdaq, because you can tell Nasdaq digesting some of this move on a low volume last week, and there is a major snag that we should not undercut the fall through day. So we did have a fall through day, which eventually got sold right at resistance, or I would call it minor resistance. But I'm not going to anticipate or tell market where it's going. I will let the market tell me what to do, and I will react accordingly. Now there is time to be proactive and there's time to be reactive, and I explained that in one of my videos to talk about when it's time to be reactive versus proactive, and we'll save that for another day. So not going to go much into detail there, but as ugly as the price action was on Friday, because you can see what happened on this hourly chart. First hour, and then we just sold off and had a little bit of buying came in right at the end, and this is what I call it short covering. So nobody probably wanted to hold short into the weekend, and they ended up covering short. So there wasn't a convincing bounce on Friday close, but at the same time, I am bullish on the market, and in a swing portfolio, we've added names like Apple, Tesla, and Dell, and I will go over this. So, what I'm anticipating, and it's all depends on what the dollar does. That is the only snag that we can have, and that's the biggest challenge for the equities right now. It's what is the dollar is going to do, because dollar is getting so strong, and hence you're starting to see some rally in the energy, as energy was the best performing sector last week. I mean, look at this energy sector, and it never bodes well for tech stocks or stocks that we traffic in. USO just on a tear, and I brought this up, USO 73.50 as a potential swing entry, and now it's at $78. I'm not in this trade. I'm not a big energy trader. It's, to me, kind of a boring trade, but hey, money is not boring. If it was setting up nicely. Weekly chart especially was super nice, but the entry would have been 75.20 here on the weekly chart over this pivot. So we'll see how things pan up here. So let's take a look in SPY, which looks a little bit better than the Qs, quite frankly. This is a really nice monthly buy setup on the SPYs. Clean. This is the major support. Weekly chart looks pretty good. If we take out 450, let's just say, we're off to the races, and we're about $5 from it as far as the SPYs go. Same chart as QQQs as market close. But what's been really tough in the market is Russell 2000. Back at the 200 period moving average support, totally got crushed here. Back below 200 period moving average on the weekly chart, totally got engulfed. Had a nice week. This does not bode well, but I mean, it's right here, kind of supporting this four touch downtrend line. So we'll see what this week brings for Russell 2000, but we're probably going to need some sort of participation from small cap to have a all out bull market, and we have been in this market where new highs and new lows aren't really matching up for what the markets have done, especially Qs that are up I think 30%, 34% this year so far. So off we go. Let's look at some of the names. I've probably posted over 20 charts on StockTwits, but I'm going to go over charts that I am personally interested in for my portfolio, and what I am going to do with these as far as next week, and how good they look from a swing trading standpoint. So Shop is my favorite long going into next week. It is still it is still a relative strength play for me. And I'll bring this up so you all can see it. So this is a weekly chart. This is a monthly chart. So let's keep this here so you can see what I'm talking about. So shop right here. Look at the relative strength, 96. Nice cup forming right here. Now it did sell off, which actually I like this setup even better. You can see the depth is 28% from the highs in the cup. Now this is a little bit, the depth is a little bit, more than what I like, but it's been consolidating in this depth for 40 days, which is fantastic, because what's happening is on the weekly chart, it's super tight here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, and kind of, this is all of it is consolidating. So that's my favorite play going into next week. And I'll have my buy triggers ready to go on this, and my buy trigger will be 64, and then I'll have to find what's a good stop will look like here, whether it's a 60. So that's a chart stop. In this case, we'll have to find a chart stop. So the chart stop will be right here. So this pivot right here, I'm going to use that as a chart stop. And then over here, if you see this right here, 67, let's call it a 68. And it's a great opportunity to add all the way up to the 200 period moving average and then higher. This could have, this is a long stage 1 and then kicked into the stage 2A, and then right here is legit stage 2 kicking into next week. Dell, I picked it up last week at $70. It's a 70.50. Another one with absolutely blowout earnings. Looks really good. Relative strength is strong, 98, turning up. Powerful gap into earnings. $70 was the line that I was watching. The stop is right here. So it's a very tight stop. I initially played it with 65 stop. I have raised the stop to 67. Even though it's the earnings didn't come out right, but look at what they posted, the EPS. So that's a positive. The earnings surprise was 52.67%, and they're guiding to better than expected to 2024 earnings. So another one that looks really good. Another one that I'm interested in, and I just offloaded this, means we just closed the position. We were long into this earning play above this 114, and then got out at 123, I think it was. Yeah, 123. And pull back. I'm going to be interested in SPLK. This stock has no wrong. It's 94 relative strength, incredible earnings. Look at that, an earnings surprise here, 57%. So see, now you're starting to see some similarities here. And then the other one that I am also so that's Dell, and then I got into Apple as well. Now you would ask, hey, Apple pulling back. Yeah, so Apple was kind of one of the entries. Look, this is not the best relative strength, and the earnings aren't very good, but market cannot rally without Apple. And the entry that when I sent out the alert for Apple was too good. It was too good of an entry. It gapped down, right? Look, if after red bar, it gapped down right to support. Well, 172 was supported, gapped down right here, was able to pick it up at 174, held it overnight. It went to almost 180, but that's not how I trade. Stop is right here, 171. We'll see how this thing goes. Now, this is a one-off from my playbook and how I trade, because it's Apple, because what kind of stock it is. Now, Nvidia is interesting here as well. Still solid relative strength on Nvidia. I'd like to see a little bit more consolidation. Nvidia, it should not take out the 50 period moving average. Look at 99 relative strength, but what you notice, it's trending down. Look at the earnings surprise, 40%. Another similarities, but this thing is just off the charts. If Nvidia takes out this right here, I might hedge my portfolio with Nvidia short, because next one will be $400. but you know, this gap may be close, but this gap ain't closing. I mean, it's got to be a bear market for this gap to close. If this gap close, longs are in trouble, including myself. Will have to liquidate, and by the matter of fact, if 400 hits, by that time I will be at 10% exposure, because that would tell me that market is just not ready to move. Adobe, we talked about Adobe as well. That looks really good. It's only a couple percent from highs, while market is down 2%. Look at the monthly, weekly chart. They all look fantastic. So stay long if you're long in Adobe. Sent that out last week. It looks absolutely fabulous. So keep it long. And then the other one that we got long is Tesla. Tesla is, look, this is tight. It's super, super tight. It's flagging on the monthly chart. The weekly chart bounced. It's still above this area, which is around 238 and over 260. It is an add for me on this position. I added to my position. I'm long since 222 on this chart on this gap up day. Then I added a 238 on this. It went to 260. I took 33% of a position off, and I'm holding the 66% of position, which I re-added on this day on Tesla. So I added a 250. It's at 256. So I'm back in full position Tesla. This looks really good over this. It is a go. Now it's a real market leader. It's just, I mean, this all time frames bullish. I mean, look at what this stock's doing versus the market. Just got to find an entry in now. This one is one of my favorites. I'm already long in this, been long for a very long time. This is a powerful gap, earning just absolutely, market leader here. RELY. Look at this relative strength, 98, pointing higher. It's consolidating. Look at the weekly chart. I mean, you already see it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of consolidation. Just absolutely blowout earnings here. Blowout earnings. This has absolutely. This is so. Relay looks really good. I'm also watching this NCR. NCR pull back from the 200 period moving average. It wasn't a good run, but I want to see if this thing gives us some entry. MNSO, Chinese name, staying strong, has been strong. So let's see how this thing worked out. More of a speculative name here, DUOL. This is, if you don't like to watch your stock proactively, this is the case that I would say proactively. And this is kind of not as liquid that I would like. Then you may want to pass this one. Otherwise, the entry's at 162, and this could see 200. I like it. I am going to be active in this one this week. PLTR continue to consolidate here. That looks really good. We'll see what happens here with PLTR, but my entry will be $16 on PLTR, so that looks good. And Meta, I am long Meta. I've got long Meta at 300. It triggered right here. It is super tight on the daily chart. Look, there's almost no volume other than this day. It kind of shook out some of the most, traders that don't like to, or knee-jerk traders, the traders that have a knee-jerk reaction, shook them out, came back up, and then again got rejected here a little bit, but hey, still pretty good. Stops are right here, 276. If it stops out, it stops out, no big deal. But that's where the stops are. The weekly buy setup did trigger, and it hasn't failed. This will be the stop, and I would active this position at 320, and then I would add a 326. So some of these stocks are starting to look really good. Uber, we're already long. Brought this up to you all right here on this move right here. 45 was a trigger. 47. It's not late. I'm going to be adding over this pivot here. 49. Just add to the winners. IoT, watching this for an entry. Nothing to do right now. Now SMCI has It was a darling of a stock, and it's just got crushed by this gap down right here, and then it's try to rally, pull back. But I think over 300 I'm gonna make. I was watching this, and this chart came up on my scan. Want to make sure I am correct. Yeah, look at the relative strength play. Relative strength kind of staying okay, but sometimes you have to see beyond the relative strength. This will stay like this for a while because it was so strong, and but if it goes below 235, there's no entry here. But I think 299.35, that pivot, will take us back to 350. So SMCI is on a watch as well. And then and then I have Carvana that came up on my scan here. It's pulling back, which is good. Love this weekly chart on Carvana. Long will be at $51 on Carvana. Look at this monthly chart. This all looks really, really good. Roku, congratulations to Roku's. It's in my swing portfolio in the subscribers. We've been long Roku. It hit our first target. Now, was not expecting for it to sell off with the market the way it did, but nonetheless, I love this weekly chart, and I am ready to add over $100. There's your targets, because this could be a monster stock. Could turn into a monster stock. Other than that, I did look at this AMD. AMD is starting to look pretty good, but one has to get about 110 for me to get super excited. Goog, somebody asked me to look at Goog. Goog, we already long at 132. It's at 137. The market's down, Goog's up on the weekly basis. Hey, that's a good news, right? Market's down 2%, Goog's up 0.85% for the week. That means you have a good stock on your hand. Weekly chart looks absolutely fantastic and could be in play over 140 as an add on Goog. One stock that got away from me, we talked about it last week. Look, I was absolutely just salivating over this weekly base here. Thursday, it gapped up at 564, and I just did not see it. I didn't see it. 564 right here. The entry would have been right here. Look at this bar. So 15 minutes opening range breakout will be 567. Stop will be 562, and then here we go, 585 2 days later. But that's how you get into these swing entries. I'm sure it provided some type. Oh, look at this beautiful entry right here, 564. But I didn't see it. It got away, and then next thing you know, it got away, really got away. So Lily, keep an eye on it. If it comes back, then it's good. If it's not, then oh well. Netflix building the right side of the chart, so looks super nice. That's probably the last chart I will review for tonight. This 450 is where you want to look at this Netflix right here. 95 relative strength, amazing earning, 20%, 31%, and then look at this, 12%. So great earning, fundamental stories intact. And then the Amazon on here as well. It is, if you have a look at Amazon, there's a massive, and I'm bringing it over here for you. Now, when you look at the Amazon, and here's the only 93 relative strength. It's moving up. Mostly driven by this gap up after the blowout earnings, and then 140 will be add. This is my second largest position in my portfolio, and there is a massive, pick overhead, but 2 weeks tight and hugging the 50-day moving average. See that? And above the 200 flat 200 pure moving average on the weekly chart. There is the 93 relative strength, 99% comp ratings on this one, an obvious fundamental story intact. This is the one that I want to make sure I have an opportunity to add to this. So add at 140, then add at 143.60, and then let it ride, because I think Amazon has long ways to go before we this could turn the market. And this is a good story for the market. Again, up just over 0.25% for the week, while Nasdaq is down 2%. Last one, GLBE. That is also, this is a new issue right here. It did sell off, but I do like it right here at 42. I wasn't watching it, but now it's getting my attention because it's a breakout failure sort of, and now getting above 42 it proves itself, and this becomes a legitimate stop at $39. So that is what I have for tonight. Hope everyone had a great week, or everyone have a great next week. If you like it, hit a like, hit a subscribe. It is also on the bottom of the link. You can join our chat room where you get actionable day trading and swing trading ideas. Wishing you all a great trading success. Stay focused, stay disciplined, stay with Playbook Trading.